Hello, my name is Felix McDonald, and today I'm going to be discussing a really important topic, and the topic is anti-Latino racism, something that I feel has been not forgotten exactly, but has been sort of pushed under the rug in American history, and I'm going to be giving examples about this. Some of these examples include repatriations, which are a really, really bad word for deportations. I'll explain later what that means. Lynchings and segregated education. So the first topic that I'm going to talk about is about the mass deportations that happened during the Great Depression. And it's really unfortunate what happened. So during that time, people were losing their jobs and didn't have any jobs, and they started blaming the Latino community for having, all jobs and stuff. And there was mass deportations that started happening during this time. A prime example of mass deportation was in 1931 in Olvera Street. Around 400 people of Mexican descent or Mexican were deported regardless of their citizenship. All in all, during the Great Depression, around 2 million Mexican Americans were deported from the United States, with around 60% of them being American citizens. So you can just imagine the horrific trauma that these people went through. And the crazy thing to me about this particular event that happened in the 1930s is that it's not widely known that, families were separated. Fathers, mothers, children were all separated from each other, and sometimes, in some cases, they never saw each other again. Most of these people, or better said, a lot of these people had already been in this land before the United States had been here. We can look back at the Treaty of Hidalgo, of Guadalupe Hidalgo, that was signed after the Mexican-American War, and how the United States took 55% of Mexico's land, and with that they gained more citizens being of Mexican descent. So it is well known that after the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, there was a lot of political instability in Mexico. So it was a very, very popular thing for many Mexicans to emigrate to the United States, knowing also that there was a huge population of Mexican Americans here in California. During the gold rush was when many of them came, not only to work in the mines, but also to help with the railroad. But with that, came a lot of racist sentimentism towards Mexican Americans. For example, in 1851 in Downeyville, California, there was a woman named Josefa Segovia who was assaulted by a white man, and in her defense, she ended up killing him. Well, because of the fact that she was Mexican, she was given a fake trial, and she was found guilty of murder. And because she was found guilty of murder, she was hung in front of 2,000 people while being shouted racial slurs. Another horrific example of these lynchings towards Mexican Americans happened out in Thorndale, Texas in 1911. There was a 14-year-old boy named Antonio Gomez who was being assaulted by a mob of white men. Well, during his defense, he ended up killing one of them, and he was sent to jail. Well, the sheriff thought that it was a little bit too dangerous to have him there in that jail, and they decided to transport him the next day. Well, during his transport, a mob of 4 men ended up coming and capturing him during the transport, and they ended up lynching him anyways. With that, a mob in Thorndale, Texas ended up forcing his own family out of his hometown. So for my final topic, I wanted to mention segregated education. So segregated education started back in the 1870s when a lot of Mexican Americans were expected just to go to separate Mexican schools throughout the Southwest. By the 1940s, as many as 80% of Latino children in places like Orange County attended separate schools. So during this time of segregation here in California with schools, there was a girl named Sylvia Mendez, and her parents were trying to put her into the best elementary schools in the area, and she was turned away because of her being of Mexican descent. So, interestingly, her parents fought back, and this was the famous case in 1945 called Mendez versus Westminster, which the parents and 4 other families filed a lawsuit to the school district. Long story short, they ended up winning the case, and it ended up breaking many boundaries, and it ended up propelling the Latino community in Orange County. So to conclude this video, I just wanted to reemphasize on how important it is to know about the anti-Latino racism that happened here in America, especially towards Mexican Americans throughout American history. We only get a hand-picked history, I feel, and not that this part of history is forgotten, but it's just not really shown in the mainstream American history. And it's very eye-opening and also humbling to know these things. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.